Let's go live to US Report host James Morrow. James, what did you think of Kamala Harris, Brett Baer on Fox? Did it go as expected? What was your take on it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kieran, we didn't learn a heck of a lot about Kamala Harris, what she would do for 4 years if she became the next president of the United States. We didn't learn much about her in terms of policy, direction, or anything about, what she would do differently than the administration that she's been a part of for the past almost 4 years now. One thing we did really get an idea was that she really doesn't like Donald Trump because, Kieran, every single interview question that came her way, she said, well, let's just talk about Donald Trump for a minute. And that was the entire, basically, rationale for the entire interview. It was her to just simply steamroll through the interview, run out the clock, and say Donald Trump is a threat, and then not say anything about herself.
So what's the strategy in doing it? Is it to target those that don't watch, not necessarily watching Fox at that time, maybe don't watch anything in terms of CNN or that sort of thing, cable news, but you can clip up interviews like that, or Kamala Harris's campaign can, and feed them into those voters that they need to reach?
Yeah, look, they'll do that. And the conservative side is already clipping up all of the answers that she gave that were basically non-answers. She got through it without any major gaffe, I'll give her that, but she simply didn't say anything. So I think what she's sort of trying to do here is kind of do a whole girl boss routine here. I went to Fox News, I stood up to Brett Baer, I talked about Donald Trump and all of that. I don't think it really moves the needle. I don't think that interview is going to change a single vote one way or the other. I think, most people who see this are going to have their mind made up one way or the other. And what's going to happen is that interview is going to reinforce their preconceived notions. So people on the right are going to say, she's empty-headed, she has no ideas. And people on the left are going to say, oh, look how tough she is, even if she didn't really say anything of substance.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And so it comes down to that group, and who, they're described in various ways, undecideds, independents, however you want to describe it. But we're not talking about many voters. And it's actually making sure on either side that they get those that might be leaning towards them to get off the couch and go and vote. It's such a pivotal part of this final stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is, because you've got a small number of voters in a small number of states that really, a lot of people say that this whole thing is going to hinge on. Now, you can say what you will about that, but the fact of the matter is that those voters, what we're seeing from some of the surveys, in fact, you see this from the Democrats' own research, is that the Democrats are stopping putting out clips of Donald Trump talking, because the more people see Donald Trump, the danger is for the Democrats, they actually like what Trump has to say. And I think the danger for them too now is that, the more Harris comes out there, tries to backfill everything at this very, late stage of the day, Kieran. I'm kind of reminded of what John Howard used to say about you can't fatten a pig on market day. Well, I think that's really what the Democrats are trying to do here.
Yes, it is that. It looks like that approach, doesn't it? As I heard one of the Democratic strategists say, everything, everywhere, all at once. That looks like their approach at the moment, just throwing everything out there.
Yeah, but I mean, what is the everything that they're throwing? If you're preconceived to be, a leftist bent, yeah, sure, you'll grab anything that they say and say, oh, well, isn't this fantastic? And she's so tough and all of this sort of stuff. But, if you're at all skeptical or inquiring, you're going to see the answers that she gave to simple questions like, what do you mean by turning the page if you've been in power for 3.5 years? And she says, well, let's talk about Donald Trump. Or, well, what do you say about what Iran's done under your administration? Oh, well, let's talk about Donald Trump. It's like Emmanuel Goldstein from 1984.
I did enjoy Brett Baer's effort, I've got to say. It was great TV. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing. Let's conclude. I want to go to that key question, and that is the polling right? Had the pollsters underestimated Trump on many occasions? Have they countered that? Have they fixed the inherent flaw that they had in their polling strategies? What's your read on it? Because if they haven't fixed it, Trump wins in a landslide.
Yeah, look, I don't think Trump wins in a landslide. My own personal sense of the race is that there's a very strong case to see this tipping one way or the other. I think it's absolutely on a knife edge. I don't know that the pollsters even know, or at least the stuff that we're getting out there, is fully accurate because I see, Trump's up in North Carolina, he's down in North Carolina, he's up in Michigan, he's down in Michigan. You've got the early voting question. Then you've got the question of Harris's internals, which also you would suggest probably aren't that great for her if they're going through the strategy.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? Like, as you said, you go mad if you looked at the polls every single day on the polar coaster, as they call it. James, appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
I am going mad, Kieran. Yeah, that's right, because I'm looking at him every day.
Stay with us. Yeah, come on. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you, Kieran.